right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is May 19th, 2022. And as always, let's take a look at where we sit for the rest of the week. So we're starting off with a bit of a gap down open in the market. There certainly was a lot of volatility yesterday in regards to the size of the sell swing inside of the S&Ps. We're seeing a lot of repetitious patterns in regards to when these sell-offs are taking place. Usually they're occurring right after some Federal Chair discussion, whether that be FOMC minutes or just the rally that occurs thereafter after some discussion from Federal Chair Jerome Powell. And as we look and see where the S&Ps lie on the week, we can see that we're actually now starting to test the lower bound of our expected move. In fact, if you kind of project where this SPY has opened this morning, maybe where the ES futures are trading, we are sitting below that 38.91 just slightly, at least in the pre-market currently. We have made some price levels respond here, but we are looking pretty much at 38.91 at the moment. I would almost beg to say that we're on the edge of the expected move at this time. So what does this mean for trade today? Honestly, it's a little bit of a challenging location for the market to be in. We certainly have opened, a bit weaker from a previous sell-off, but as we've seen historically, gap down opens can actually be one of the more bullish sessions. So there's a couple ways we can maybe project what to anticipate today, and obviously look for the signals there within. So, calling out the lower bound of the expected move is one thing. Typically, we're going to see price activity kind of remain close to, if not at or inside the expected move. How we get there is a little bit harder to anticipate, but most of the time you're looking at closes inside of this range. So it would be a bit of an oddity, especially because it is a monthly expiration series in the May 2020 series. It would be a little bit of an oddity if the market was closing outside of expected move, especially this week. So keep all that higher level aspect in mind. We're already a bit extended based on expected move. And then when we look at the S&Ps, we start to just form some general bias about how the market has been trading. What you'll notice is we do have a channel. Now, this was something we knew about yesterday. I talked about the idea that the market reaction on Thursday had enough clarity to respond back to the upper trend line. And that has already been achieved. Now, of course, we did see the similar rejection as we got back from the Fed minutes. That was sort of a reactionary low a couple of sessions prior, a very strong rally, sort of a reactionary rally into the trend line. And then, of course, this trend line was established based on this. This wasn't necessarily in play because we only had this anchor point to use. So our channel is pretty much well defined at this point. And unfortunately, what's bad about a channel is that after you get about 2 to 3 waves of channel trading, you can often anticipate maybe 1 or 2 more at best. Channels tend to have this sort of oddity where you need at least 2 points to make them. And then, of course, after that, they tend to start to degrade a little bit. Usually a range will form, moving you outside of the channel, or in some cases, you actually get some mild breaching of channel and then response back in. So they're not as precise the further they go. Typically other forces take over at that time. So as I mentioned before, this location in the S&P is interesting from a technical sense. We obviously have a defendable low for the market to hold up against. We have our expected move, that 38.91 that kind of cuts right around where the price is at the moment. And then, of course, if you're anticipating something a bit more strong in the market, you're obviously looking at relative risk against our pre-market low so far, essentially trying to form what is in essence a very early indication of a possible double bottom. Obviously, the sell swing from yesterday puts that in very much contention, and the bulls have a lot of work to do to even recover some of the upper trend that they had held prior. So keep all this in mind when you're looking at the market today. Risk levels in the market are great to trade around, but you have to be willing to step into the risk level appropriately, because they often will provide shorter term trade. And then if they do end up holding, you're simply looking for confirmation to continuously happen. For example, if this is something like a double bottom structure, you obviously want the bulls to reclaim the hourly uptrend. And in order to do that, they obviously have to push through this sell-off. They have to form something indicative of an inverse head and shoulder, typically a drawdown back to retest some prior swing low support, and then of course rally from that point. That's going to take a lot of time and effort, and ultimately the bulls haven't done anything towards that effort yet. So for a bear, it's even a little bit more tricky, because yes, we are still in a weak market. The sell-off yesterday was indicative of a lot of general weakness that took over. We'll look at maybe some consumer staple names that provided a bit of additional fear and maybe some additional sell side pressure. But as a bear, you also have to be thinking about the idea of what if this level does hold. You could be selling against a general downtrend, and the idea is that you don't necessarily want to take too much upside risk, because the risk against your position is that this does hold as support. So ultimately, this is kind of a tricky spot, because it can play out in one of two ways moving forward. And additionally, when we have such strong sell-off days prior, we're kind of looking at more or less inside type trading. An example of one would be our most recent sell swing. Did have a stronger sell-off day, and then we had very mild sort of indecisive day the next session. You can also model some of the larger sell-off candles, maybe ones that form from relative highs, maybe a position of slight strength, and then just kind of model out what the next day looks like. This is where you can see that there really isn't a ton of clarity here. This day actually provided a bit of a neutral open, a very wide sell swing to break the lows, and then we rallied at some point in the session. Compare that to this one where we started off weak the session prior, and then we continued almost an equal sell-off in regards to the width of the range. So, it's okay to basically say that we really don't know what's going to transpire today. What sort of catalyst do we have today? Nothing too crazy. There are some more data elements to the morning session. We'll have Norm and Carlos talk about those in just a moment. But outside of that, we'll need to be looking at positional opportunity. So, all in all, what is the market doing here? We're seeing tech basically trying to defend its lows, coming off of that similar sell swing yesterday. We're looking at healthcare, which actually was holding up a bit strong, seeing a similar sell-off. This is indicative of the type of strength of the sell-off yesterday. A lot of sectors took the brunt of the hit. Financials came off as well. We're starting to lose this particular structure, but I'm keeping an eye if the market can actually recover at some point here. We're still barely in line with where bullish behavior should occur. And we've had a mild breach here, but we are kind of on that bleeding edge of possibly holding. And then last but not least, the kind of sector in focus yesterday. And I want to call this out because it showcases where the market was maybe focused overall. And there was a lot of general selling around this particular lack of support. So let's see. Someone's calling out audio loss on YouTube. I think we're okay at the moment. Yeah, we should be good on YouTube. So we did have some earnings that came out that drove this sell side pressure. Keep in mind, this is consumer staples. So what stocks are we looking at here? We're looking at stocks like Procter & Gamble, Coke and Pepsi, Costco. Note the type of weighting these stocks have. These are your top 4. And then the percentage drops off. We have Philip Morris, Mondelez, Altria, Walmart, Colgate, Estee Lauder, General Mills, and the list goes on. So, these stocks are indicative of a little bit of defensive posturing in the market. And obviously, they showcase whether or not there is some inflationary pressure being placed on these their profit margins. So we got some clarity with that in regards to Walmart. Walmart essentially reported earnings, showcased the types of pressures that they're seeing in regards to shipping and freight costs, just the overall cost to get inventory and what that does to the consumer. You model that with Target, another sell swing from earnings. These are sell swings that should be respected in regards to where they're placing pricing. We're talking about losses back to 2020 prices. And what ended up happening yesterday is this eventual crack in the seams of consumer staples took place across the board. So Costco lost its weekly support. You want to be thinking, okay, Procter & Gamble is our biggest holding, massive drawdowns. These stocks did not have earnings, but they sold with the rest of them. You want to be talking Coke. Okay, Coke had a massive sell swing as well. Pepsi, the list goes on. There was no consumer staple stock yesterday that really held up well because the outflow of consumer staple cash was basically hitting the entire sector. So no matter what you look at, you can look even international at Mondelez, large sell swing yesterday. You can look at industries that maybe aren't necessarily tied to general consumer spending. Hershey brand is not necessarily one that's going to sell you toilet paper and toothpaste, but it is in the same bucket and therefore encounters the same outflows. So this is what I talk about in regards to very clear sector performance. Usually when this is happening, it doesn't really matter what stock you pick. As an intraday trade, it's going to hit all of them, and they're all going to provide the same opportunity. Pick the one that you like to trade the most and ride the wave of selling or buying, depending on which way we're biased. So just wanted to show that lack of strength in consumer staples, and you pair that with everything else that was selling yesterday, and you get a very clear picture of not being a bull yesterday. Very challenging to be a bull at levels, at support. Ultimately you were fighting the dominant trend in the market. And some of these numbers are, I believe, okay, maybe we did close at these percentages. I'd have to double check these, but I mean, just talk about, even just thinking about consumer discretionaries, this is a much larger sector. Staples is actually relatively midline for the S&P, but Staples had similar sell-off performance. Amazon and quite a few other names in that grouping. HD, Lowe's, all coming out with their earnings and reacting bearish for the market. So Home Depot, Lowe's, and then you talk about a stock that's maybe struggling to find a support level, look no further than Amazon. So all in all for today, what I'll basically say is you're going to get a lot of bits of information about what we've discussed throughout the week. You know, skew is back to the upside. We have things like interest rates, which are still, you know, forming some relative highs. All of this in the moment is important to keep in the back of your mind. Volatility did go back into contango, or sorry, backwardation yesterday, but they are now trading the active June contracts. So this is a very mild backwardation. Just maybe keep an eye on that if you are bullish today. It would be nice to see that maybe come off a bit, and that would, you know, provide some of the fuel to get you back into the expected move. But as far as strategy today, think about how to respond to these levels. You know, as we talked about, a bull wants to hold a low. It's a predefined low, so it'd be the first time in a while we're trading around a pre-established level and obviously looking to support it with trend changes. As a bear, be careful of that low. For continuation, we have to crack it. And depending on how high these retracements are in pre-market, getting established bearish might be a little tricky down here because we missed out. You know, as a bear, we've seen some selling already yesterday. So play around with that today. Maybe even think about some neutral strategies if the market sets up appropriately. And just understand that if this channel is to continue holding, you know, the dominant bias here is to actually flush from a position of weakness, you know, basically to flush the low. If it doesn't hold, think double bottom, think possibly a mild breach and then a recovery in the afternoon. And ultimately, don't expect too much in the way of dominant directional trade today if any of those form, because if history is any indication, we're going to get some trading session that looks like these, and this would be maybe a more rare case for another sell swing. So all that said, let's take a look at any questions today. It is Thursday, so if y'all do have anything you want to look at, let me know. We got some people maybe looking at Sofi, so I'll just bring that up really quickly. Looks like it held up pretty well yesterday. Got some levels, some historical. Actually, no, this isn't really anything of relevance. This is kind of an interesting chart. So you have a clear rally that rejected into a fairly high sell swing into earnings, and then a full recovery. Now we're actually closing a bit higher on yesterday's session. That's actually kind of interesting. So, you know, here's your range. You're playing a bit near the top end of the range. And what's good about that is you can actually get maybe some potential opportunity depending on if one of these sides breaks. So, you know, this consolidative effort here, it kind of gives me the sense of more bullish, but we do need to break this high because we did just attempt it and failed. So, yeah, interesting daily. I think the intraday maybe is a little bit more challenging here, but it's a nice setup. We'll look at Tesla. I'll just pick one out of the two that you provided. You know, Tesla really is kind of barely hanging on. I'm not a big fan of this support area holding for very long, so I'm a fan of this actually breaking down further. It looks as if it's pressing against these levels. But if the S&P rallies, I don't expect Tesla to necessarily, crack. So it really depends on today what's going to happen. I think in general, though, I would not trust this low very much. It provides short-term plays. You get your day where you come into it, bounce off of it a little bit, but it's not a strong support. It's a reactionary support. So let's see. PLCE. I'll pick a few more and then I'll look at the YouTube chat. Okay, so they had earnings. Let's see what their option market says. Okay, they don't have a great option market, but their May expiration falls in line with their earnings. So we could actually look at this one and say about an $8 expected move. It really wasn't heavily traded though. So this is where there's not a lot of good option information. Even if I look at volume and open interest, maybe 35 is probably your biggest player yesterday. So not a lot of clarity here. Reaction from earnings. This is Children's Place. Relatively bearish. It actually looks like we moved about $8. So to me, this is in line with the expected move. There's not a lot of volume here, but it looks accurate. So we were at 42, 43. We dropped to 34. That's about $8 to $9. So that makes sense. BJ, let's see. So let's ask the question here. Is BJ in consumer staples? So if the answer is yes, that kind of gives an idea of why it sold off so heavily yesterday. Don't see it, but it might still be here. And it might be tied close enough to experience some selling. So sell swing, we closed below swing low support. Looks like earnings did come out this morning. Therefore, we have two things in play. $8 expected move, $8 to $9 expected move. We closed at 53. We're trading somewhere in here. Now, what's odd about this is the sell-off yesterday might have skewed this number a bit, and also where the risk actually lies for BJ. So I'm looking at the option chain and saying, okay, there's some inventory here. The biggest one sits at 70. That's probably too far away. The downside here sits at 50. So more downside for BJ for the next couple of days. The technicals look that way. I would say the option market's ready for it. I wouldn't necessarily just play it out right because your reaction is more or less this candle. So we already hit 50 on the reaction candle. We topped out at 58.50 on this high of the candle. Might be a little choppy until we can clear one of those lines. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for that one. Do you expect continuation in consumer staples? Multiple days of selling, probably more consolidated. Target really didn't close weak. It closed midline. So probably going to be choppy. I think the lowest we were looking is about 150 for target. So if you see a break of 155, think 150. So let's look at YouTube really quickly, and then I'll get back here for some other ones. The Qs, similar posture. I mean, Qs are weaker overall. Tech stocks have taken more of a decline than the rest of the market. Yeah, everything's in relative position regarding this weekly low. I mean, I can look historically and say, okay, you know, here's a sell swing, here's a buy swing. None of that really matters in the moment. The momentum is what matters. We need bearish momentum to stop in order to not see a fresh low. And then we need a range to establish. Yes, there are levels back here, but until one of them respects well, the momentum is what matters in the moment. So, let's see. AMD. AMD was a good trader yesterday. You just had to recognize that the market was weak to everything. So there was a nice rally. We got some bullish behavior up to 104s. We actually cleared a gap. So we filled up a gap last session and, you know, into yesterday's session. And, you know, at some point it topped out and the rest of the market took over. The correlation really took over. Do I like where it kind of landed? Yeah, it's a decent area of support. It's almost a range high back in 2020. So this range high spike is interesting to me. I'll lift it on the chart. If we hold here, it's nice to see us out of this range and maybe finding some support here, but this range right here took multiple months of price activity to really go bullish. So to expect AMD to just dip in and go like that might take a little bit longer than expected. Usually markets have to reaccumulate. So it'd be good to hold some levels for trade today. And this is a level you might want to keep in mind, this spike high. Thoughts on Upstart. It's up 100% from the last 5 days. That's what happens when stocks get oversold. So, yep, Upstart is up 100% from the low. Nice counter rally. Here's what I would say: high reaction low, high volume low. We established the absolute low afterwards. We put up engulfing. You play it as high as it goes. 5 days of higher highs, higher lows. Rising volume too, kind of interesting. Now, is that going to be the end of the selling for this stock? Probably not, but it's an important level. Think about where we came into. It's almost as if you're buying the IPO open. So, you know, amidst all the noise in the short term, think about what price you're buying. You're buying this open. So it makes sense to see some defense there. Would you, you know, feel confident in that, seeing where we came from? It's probably more or less a trade that's underway, and this bounce is kind of taking place. All right, so that's pretty much it for my session today. I'll answer a few more in the main chat, but as always, trade safe today. Take it easy, stay green, and stay tuned for pre-market prep. We'll talk more next week, so have a great rest of your trading week, and good luck to everybody. So talk to y'all then.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Rainy morning here in North Jersey, but nothing to complain about. Not too bad. How things are over there, my friend?
A little thunder this morning. It'll be 95, 97 degrees and humid
Wow.
probably, but
Wow.
yeah, there was thunder all around this morning, but I didn't get any rain, so that's all right. But yeah, no, we actually I think that the highest it's been was like a week and a half ago here. It hit 98 already.
Wow. Wow.
It's been an exceptionally early start to summer as far as the more aggressive heat. But never fear,
Yeah.
there's always August. Don't ever
Oh,
visit
yeah.
Texas in August, brother. If
Oh,
you've never been here, it'll be like 105, 108,
mm.
and humid as hell.
I
But
had as much as Florida in August, and that was brutal. I mean, I can only imagine Texas. All right, folks. Let's get to it. Our list this morning, heavy on the red side of things. So the gap down list got a couple of stuff on there. Only BJ, I think it's the retail store on the
yeah,
green side of 6.7 this morning. And again, a lot of red. Yesterday, guys, we'll get into that in a little bit. That's just a
do we
massive
want to?
what was that? That we
Do
want
we
to,
really
right?
want to?
uh, Yesterday was just insane. Let's look at some of the stocks we had on deck here, guys. Starting with Target. Target massive drop after earnings yesterday morning at pre-market, and again they were down about 20%, but it did not stop there. As you can see, continued to drop even further into the market. Right out of the gates, huge rejection of 168 does drop down here, creates a base, tries to recover, but again, more sell off here as the SPY continues to just kind of pull things down, right? So the overall market pulling all these tickers down, including Target. Yesterday, look at this drop here, all the way to 155 on Target. Got a little bit of a rally, a clean rally into the close yesterday. That was also nice. Got very extended here towards the downside. Did make it up to the VWAP. So if you're trading later in the later parts of the day, that was pretty nice there. Here is Oxy as well. Again, just grabbed onto the 9 moving average, never looked back. Not as clean as the day before, where they had a nice a pop here. Just sold off the entire day on Oxy. AMD, AMD wants to be strong, guys. AMD wants to get going. It wants to get back up to some, better numbers here. But it tried. It tried early on. It did trade very well towards the top side. Got just again the overall market just pulling it down. So here we
Wants
get
and
back.
needs are two different things.
Yeah, exactly. It wants to, but it just can't. It can't. The market's not with it right now. So here it finally gives in, and just look at the drop all the way back to 99.79, a level that we've been battling with AMD here. And then it just falls apart as the SPY continues to drop, and the Qs as well. Neo, very rough start, very choppy. Not really a great trader yesterday to about 11 noon, where you start getting this drop here, as many stocks around after 11, guys. You could have picked anything going south, and you would have been okay. Apple, same situation, guys. Never really popped up at all. Just held on to the 9 moving average, very similar to Oxy, and just sold off the entire time there. TJX was probably the only one that managed to stay green. It was a nasty green though. It was not clean. It was up for the most part the entire day. I think the previous day close was somewhere down here. So they stayed green, but again, just not able to really run with it or do anything fancy. So that was the list yesterday, guys. Norm, elephant in the room, SPY down big yesterday. Latest and greatest.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it. Spoke about it Monday when it looked like the market was trying, or Tuesday, sorry, market trying to bounce, and it was going a little bit higher on the weekly. It looks like that was as I think I said. Let's see if it holds. Uh, it is not held, and the front's fallen off again. So, and if nobody gets my reference to that, search "the front fell off" on YouTube and have a good laugh. But anyway, yeah, it nasty right now. We're creeping back toward. Uh, Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing there, but creeping
Mhm.
back toward the low we put in not too terribly long ago, which was just above 385. That's like 19.9% pullback on the SPY from all time highs. 20% would confirm the bear market. So, yeah, we'll see.
We'll definitely see what takes place here, guys.
It's not looking good at the moment. I know a lot of people are throwing out 350-ish. I think 340 was the pre-pandemic high. Right back there, you've got it an inch to the left of where your pin is. Yep, right there.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how we do.
Yeah, we will definitely see, guys. Again, definitely taking a bit of a hit here on the SPY overall market, and obviously affecting many stocks as we saw yesterday. Let's get into our gappers list. Again, many things in the red this morning. Let's remove what we had on deck yesterday. Control A, Control X. Gets rid of that, and let's see what we have here. Starting with BJ this morning, they are up 7.2. This is BJ Wholesale Club, so another retail company. We only talk about this stock when they report. Other than that, I don't think we ever watch this one at all.
Very rarely.
They reported, it seems, the 19th
this
morning, although yesterday they started taking a nice little hit here. So yes, they started taking the hit.
They took that because all the other retailers were, but
right.
You know, we're still not back to above yesterday's open.
Yeah, I think the 7.2 is a little bit misleading, right? 7.2 this morning. They're 7.2 because they got crushed yesterday. They took the hit a little bit early
on the sympathy, and then
right.
But they actually did pretty well on their earnings, beating top and bottom lines. So
yeah, here is Costco's another one as well on the gap down list. So they had earnings actually last night, and you see the reaction this morning here down 11.3 again.
Cisco.
Cisco. Yeah. Oh, it's not Costco. Oh, I thought it was Costco. No. Okay. So Cisco. So this is they had earnings. Oh man, you would think these semiconductors will be doing good. What happened with their earnings on Cisco?
I don't watch this nearly as close as some do, but they're talking about networking equipment being weak and some other stuff. So yeah, they had a bit of a hard time there.
Yeah. So not doing well here, guys.
They beat earnings, but I think they missed their revenue, and their forward guidance was the problem.
No good. Okay, all right, that makes sense. I know some positive news out there with the semiconductors. So I thought they will benefit on that, but obviously not. They're down quite a bit here, 11.6, 1.1 million shares traded. So not a great trader. We'll put them on deck here. We'll see what happens. BJ, for the most part, I didn't even put BJ on the list because, again, look at this pre-market activity you're getting here. They just don't trade very well. Hence the reason why we almost never look at BJs in our gappers list, in our list at all, unless they have some kind of news like they have today. Here's Kohl's. They are down 7.1, and they reported pre-market as well this morning. Again, they have not been doing well in the last couple of days, so another gap down day here, down 7.7. We'll see. They can get going. Pre-market does not look too exciting right now. They're down 8%. Let's see if they can get going this morning.
They'll get going. They had earnings this morning. They usually trade pretty well when they had earnings.
Yeah. VIPS, no, it's not looking good, guys. It's down 6.4. I'm not seeing anything great pre-market wise, and this is one we looked at our list plenty of time. It just doesn't trade very well, so I'm gonna bypass this one. Here is Macy's. So Macy's, the Macy's report, no, they're doing it next week. So pre-market on the 26th. Here we're down 3.3 on this one, guys. Again, just probably sympathy moves or everything else. I think Kohl's is the one to watch today, not really Macy's for the most part. Here's Baba. We are down 2.8. Again, not great volume on this. A lot of the stuff is, again, just kind of not really in play, but you're getting some movement because of the SPY, obviously. I do like the daily on Baba, though, for a possible hit at 80, right? So maybe that could be interesting. I'm going to put them as a possible in the meantime on the secondary list. Affirm here, they are... let's get rid of these levels. I'm not doing anything. Down 2.7, barely making our gap down list. It's just a lot of chopping here, guys. The volume has really died on this here as well. At least it's not trading very well, very clean. Yeah, I don't. Eventually, we're going to break out of this. I just don't see that happening today with this type of activity.
I gotta tell you, man,
Look at
As
this
I
thing.
sit here and
Yeah.
I see the Qs are down 1.3% and SPY's down 1.2. I'm shocked that our gappers list isn't longer than it is.
That's a good point.
It's surprising.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Why is that? I mean, you don't have AMD, you don't have Apple here, you don't have a lot of these names that usually follow the SPY very heavily in the overall queues. Are they like on the verge of just no? Yeah, you know what? They probably sold off so much yesterday. They're trying to hold on to something. But yeah, I am surprised too. You're absolutely right. It looks like they might have been around early on pre-market, right? They're recovering a little bit now, but still, even so, this list should be
The
longer.
indices haven't.
Yeah, exactly. This list should be longer. I agree. Let's see what happens at 9:10. I think it will. Andrew in chat said maybe in a value the volume is too low for them. Yes, some, but for example, AMD's got 651. But I agree. We'll see 9:10. Let's see how this list is going to look then. I guarantee it'll probably be a whole different story there, especially the SPY continues to pull down here. I think some of these tickers I mentioned yesterday, like AMD, Apple, they want to do well. They don't want to be down here, but any chance they get to pop up, they will. But obviously, the market has a whole different picture painted for them at the moment. Oxy here, Oxy big drop yesterday, back under 64. We're back under this range that we're stuck in for some time. So that could be interesting. Oxy has been trading very well. Traded well yesterday. Traded well the day before. Not so much 2 days ago, but for the most part, I got a couple of clean days here on Oxy more often than not. So we'll watch them. Right now, volume is a little bit light, 221,000, which is not a surprise when it comes to them getting that type of volume. All right, I'm going to stop here. Actually, we got two more that people like. See, the list is starting to grow, Norm. I think you kind of woke it up a little bit here. We have Plug now, which is not looking...
Poked it with the stick.
You did poke the list with the stick here. We have Plug and we have PLTR just came in there and disappeared. Plug not looking so well. Snapchat, what is Snapchat up to? No, we need more volume for Snap. We know how this thing can trade. All right, let's stop here. Norm, anything you like on your end this morning?
Somebody's asking why CAN is not on the list. There's a $1 minimum.
Which one?
CAN.
CAN, CAN. Is that the Wii stock? Is it?
No.
No, is this different? Like I'm confusing it. Okay.
No, this is Bitcoin mining crap.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is it doesn't look good either way. Even if it wasn't our gappers list, it doesn't look interesting at the moment. You're up 11.1. Yes, everything else looks good here, but if you look at under the hood here, look at this pre-market, look at the charts, it's not attractive at all at the moment.
There's a $5 minimum on the gappers list. That's one of the criteria to get on it.
Yep. All right, excellent. Let's take it over to chat, my friends. Let's see what we guys have here. Ben is giving us Apple. Yeah, one that we always will be looking at, especially with the way the market has been. Sold off really clean yesterday, like many stocks did, obviously. So Apple here is 1.6 million and down almost a little bit less than 1% there. I'm going to be watching AMD, guys. I think AMD is just waiting for anything to just get explosive here. So I do like AMD with the way it's been trading lately. Already pre-market, you're seeing some really good activity. I mean, it's just trying to get into the green here. Let's see if the SPY can help it do that. What else? So thank you, Ben, for that one. Heading down for Apple there. Anton, CAN isn't on the gappers. So yep, so we kind of addressed that already, why that's not on there. And it doesn't look good, even though it's not on the gap down list. Sometimes we have tickers that are not on the gap down list or the gap up that look decent for us to watch. That one today is not looking great, at least not right now. Sam, you're giving us Sofi and UPST. So let's look at Sofi or Sofi, Sofi Technologies. No, I'm not. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. I know these guys can trade very well. I've seen you guys take amazing trades on this one, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing here right now. The daily looks like a great opportunity for a breakout above 750 here, but for the most part, pre-market, we're pretty quiet. Big block trade here at 233,000. So if you slash that off here, the volume is even less than the 454. Yeah, I might pass on it for now. If it gets better, throw it back out to me. UPST. UPST is closing this gap, slowly but surely. They're looking to close this gap. Yesterday they moved up an inch higher here. They get rejected, obviously, but it feels like they're looking to close this gap. You really have to wait for the market open on this one, guys. Pre-market, they tend to have a horrible pre-market activity, but the volume will come in at the market open, especially with the gap down they had a few days ago. So give it a little bit of time. I'm going to put it on a secondary list. I'm not a big fan of it, I'll tell you right now, but I have seen it trade very well, especially the last couple of days here as it's trying to get going. All right, let's see what we got. Noshi, I'll check on that. I'll check on that that webinar for sure. I'll get back to you on that. United, no, this is not United. This is Under Armour. UAA, no, it's not really in play. Volume is very light, which is typical Under Armour pre-market. They're nicely stocked. They don't get great volume in the pre-market. I see what you're looking here. What you like here. You like this this area was trying to hold on to that 990, which is the most recent low there. It just needs more juice here. It needs more
catalyst.
Juice.
They do have a catalyst. Yeah, their CEO is leaving. That was announced last night.
Okay. I feel good if I'm a CEO and I leave and the stock drops down. That's a good sign. Usually when these guys leave and you see the stock go up 10, 20%, that's no good. But yeah, it's affecting them a little bit here. It's just, if it was a good CEO, I don't know how much it's going to affect this stock. I don't know. I don't know. With the market the way it is, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. AMD is good. Thank you, Chris MC. We have that one. Tunde AMD. Yeah, it's moving like a boss. I agree. It's moving very good right now. Very active pre-market activity. AMD has been great, guys. AMD, NVIDIA has come down a little bit since we started kind of going sideways here. But this is another one that has been trading very well. Also, we'll keep an eye on that when things start trending north. That'll be a good one to put back on the list. Right now, it's not looking all that great. Brett, you're giving a Siga, SIGA. SIGA, what is this? If I can type. SIGA.
Diggs is a long way from that.
Diggs is a long way from that, my friends. You know what it is? You move your finger over once and you can get into big trouble. So here it is, SIGA, guys. Up 23%, 4.1 million shares traded right now. What's the float on this bad boy? Let's take a look here. We are looking at 41 million shares float. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this. Let's come back to it. I'm not sure. It's not typically one of the stocks I like to watch the way it's setting up right now. It's got some volume here. I'll tell you this. If it can hold and we can continue to slam on that 10 and not fall back down to 8 or below, we can have some fun with that one, Brett. I agree with you there. Let's see what happens. All right. We are all set there. We have that one. Monkeypox. Is that what that is? I saw John's tweet on that. But by the way, if you don't follow John over on Twitter, please do so. It's at John BBT, I believe. But you can get all of us by following at Bearable Traders, and then from there you can see Norm, myself, we're all tagged into that. So definitely follow at Bearable Traders on Twitter. A lot of good stuff happening there, and I think we might be going. I got to check with you, Norm, or Artie. I think we're going live on Twitter tomorrow, right? We're doing the I forget the name. Shares is a share. I forget the actual name of the live on Twitter, but it's really good, guys. You can Spaces, Twitter Spaces. You can we can actually hear you. You can ask your questions. It's a real nice one. Definitely follow us on Twitter there, Bearable Traders. All right. FDA approval for a med this morning. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Kohl is good. We have Kohl, and the last one I want to check is Rivian. Rivian this morning, it's pretty quiet. We've seen better. It's just wrapping itself around the previous day close right now, so not doing a whole lot at the moment. All right, let's take it over to our YouTube chat, guys. How you guys doing this morning? Good morning. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so, if you're enjoying the show. And also for Jared coming in every morning at 8 a.m. You'll miss him tomorrow, but he'll be back on Monday. All right, let's see what you guys have here. Let's Apple is good. Yep, the Apple is on our list. Yes, it is. AMC, is AMC making some moves? What is AMC doing? It had a pop yesterday up to 14. Today the pre-market looks a little more live than the last couple of days, so maybe they're up to something here. AMC, let's put them on the list. Okay, volume, we've seen better for sure. GOSS, Goose. What is this?
Canada Goose.
There we go. Is this like a
Coats?
Oh, I was gonna say it's like a vodka or something, or okay. Oh no, so it's Coats. All right. So right now pre-market, I would have been more excited if it was vodka, But all right, we'll look at this one. So GOS, at the moment, guys, we're up 11.9. Not great volume, and man, they don't get volume at all throughout the day, guys. Look at this. 2.2 million is the highest they see in the last couple of days. That's going to translate to really crappy intraday action, right? So you're not going to get a whole lot of liquidity here or something like that. So
It's traded
I'll be
great in
concerned.
2018, but its actions died down a lot recently.
Oh, it was 2018 a good one. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
then,
this was
but
on
yeah,
our
yeah,
list a lot in 2018,
yeah.
and it moved like crazy.
Wow, wow. Yeah, so I'm not seeing no fun there, Stock Pigeon. Let's head on down. I think we're set, guys.
Maybe he just picked it because of his name.
Maybe Stock Pigeon, and then he picks Canada Goose. Yeah, maybe. Is Stock Pigeon from Canada? TWST, last one on the list, and we'll get to community events and announcements. Oh, no, 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 no. No, TWST, guys, no good. There's nothing happening here. 67 shares. Somebody just hit a hotkey error. They did not mean to do that. This is not in play. All right, let's get to our community events, guys. We'll come back and fine tune this list. Again, not a blockbuster list at the moment, but it'll get better. It'll get better.
Go to the webinar page, Carlos, because this is still all messed up.
Yes. Let's do that. Let's get over here. 1 second while I switch that over.
Stock Pigeon.
He is from Canada.
Well, it's not the Canada part. It's the pigeon, goose, avian relative.
Yeah. Correct.
You see your fellow winged species get plucked and filled into a coat, and you're going to suggest it. That's like 2 degrees away from cannibalism, my friend.
Here we go.
All right. Don't forget about onboarding every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, with my man Carlos. That's open to all membership categories, including the intro. Tech webinar next week's going to be Artie talking about technology, how to use sentiment, bonds, and options in your decision making. Then strategy next week will be Jared. If you would scroll down, my man, because that's like 2 weeks out, that next technology that's on there. He's going to be talking about market cycles and such, 8 p.m. next Tuesday. Wednesday, and then the following week, Eamon is going to be 5 p.m. talking about trend trading. And then Wednesday next week, Randy Howell, 8 p.m., building a winning trading psychology mindset, and mastermind pro session with Dr. Reed the following week. Don't forget about mentorship on Thursday. That's today. You got John at 11, Ed at 4, and Thor at 8. If you haven't checked out Andrew's psychology webinar from last night, should be posted soon. I was unable to make it. That's right at the time when I'm putting my son to bed, but I'm sure it was awesome. StockTradingSimulator.com is our free web-based trading simulator. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to go there. Check it out when you get a chance. And when you sign up for it, like I said, it's free. But you do sign up and you get a couple of emails a week, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, pointing you in the right direction of what tickers and times to look for in there, along with some homework. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat room, you can go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page, choose the intro membership. It'll give you a week in the room. It does not auto-renew. Click it and... it's use promo code PreMarket24 for a discount on that week.
All right. Thank you very much, Storm. All right, guys, let's get to it here. Let's go ahead and fine tune our list this morning. Let me just take care of something here, guys. Get something out of the way. Here we go. Okay, excellent. Let's jump in, guys. So we're looking at CSCO, Cisco here, getting a little bit of a pop. We're looking at Kohl's. We have Oxy, which has been great, also starting to come alive here a little bit. We have Apple, which is very active. All these tech-type companies at the moment, at least Apple and AMD, getting a little bit of a bounce from the lows of the pre-market. So you're seeing that there. And we have AMD here also bouncing from this low of the pre-market over at 93.74. So a little bit of some love at the moment coming up for AMD and Apple. Both of them looking really good this morning, especially AMD. It's been my favorite stock the last couple of days. This thing is trading very, very well. Secondary list, we have BABA, which has a nice drop this morning. UPST, Again, it looks to be closing this gap here. Nice drop down here a couple of days ago. So that is interesting. Again, pre-market, not so much yet. Will be a good one to watch later in the day. On the Armour, their CEO is leaving or left, and here we have a small drop, not great volume at the market open. We'll see how that plays out, if this is going to roll over a little bit here, some more, or not. Again, these guys are just getting crushed, right? Look at the drop you had here from 15 down to 11 a few weeks ago, and now you're playing around with this 991. I mean, it just has not been good for this stock at all, in a while. So not just with the market dropping, just in a while, this stock has not been doing well. Here is SIGA, Siga Technologies. See, I'm not liking this now. We're not getting any base here. We're continuing just to make red candles on the 5-minute. If we cannot get above the VWAP here, build some kind of base, consolidate, it won't be fun. It has the volume, but we need it to push higher. And do we have shares for short? We do. Be very careful. You do have shares for short on this one, but be very careful. It's not a low flow, but it's sitting at 41, and it's already gone from, from 740 to 10. So it is moving very, very aggressively with some volume there. So be careful on that one. All right, let's get to some levels here. Let's start here with CSCO. We are looking at high of the pre-market. It's just being created right now. This pop here is taking you over to 43.96. That's a good one there. Low of the pre-market heading at 41.19. We'll slam a level there, and then you have the big gap down, guys, from 48 to all the way 43, where the price action is now. Let's head on to the left, at least up to a year. Let's see, do we have anything? If not, we'll switch over to a weekly. And we're coming up here. Nope, we have not been down here in quite some time. Let's go ahead and switch to a weekly and see what the deal is here. So with that, let me zoom in right around where the price action is, and here we do have some more activity, so that's good. Let's see there. Okay, not the cleanest daily, by the way. Definitely not the cleanest daily. They don't get tons of volume, and so that could be why. Right here, they don't really move unless they have earnings or a catalyst, so you're not getting great stuff here. This is the weekly, I know that, but for the most part, you look at the daily, still doesn't look great. 46.71. Here you go. You got a level there off the weekly, so a little bit of resistance happening there week over week. That's a good one to have on deck. And then towards the bottom here, you might want to have 45.32. So we got two levels to fill in that gap there where we didn't have anything above the pre-market highs. I think that's going to help us out here. Put some good levels in our charts. Let's take a look at our daily. Yeah, that's pretty good. We got some good stuff there. And then you can mark down this one here, 47.51. But for the most part, we got some decent levels in here. I should have marked down the low, anything below the low of the pre-market in case we get a rejection when I was at the weekly, but you can do that. Go to the weekly and then we can find something down here. I'm going to do it in case if we get close to that 41.19, I'll head back over there and pick up some levels off the weekly. Here is Kohl's setting a low of the pre-market today at 37.16. We'll put a level there, and then we're going to scroll over to the left here. Another one that we have not, many of these stocks is hitting their 52-week low. They just haven't been here in a very, very long time. So here's Kohl's. We're going back to last year, actually 2 years ago. We have a 33.63 off the daily, and we also have a 31.06. So I think that's pretty good there. The price action right now is sitting right at a daily level too, going back to early last year. Right over here, we have a level over at 40.95. Might actually be 41, but a good level there. A lot of resistance happening there for a stretch of a month, I think. Right, December all the way to January, you had that area of resistance. So that's going to be significant for this stock, and we're seeing that right now in the pre-market action. So that's good there. Low of the pre-market is this one, but I am going to note this 39.53. I think that's important because look at the action you got here this morning, a little bit of a support there. So this is a question we get quite often, actually, where what do we mark down? Do we mark down the low of the pre-market, or do we mark down this over here? You can do both. You can do both. Your low of your pre-market is fine. This will actually not have as much weight as this will, I think. I think if we lose this, yes, we can get to 37.09, but you have to lose this. And so I think this has more weight. You have more volume playing here than this actual wick here. So, but you can mark both of them down just to be prepared for the day. Here is Oxy. Oxy heading south, down 3.2, 392,000 shares traded. So they're not having a whole lot of fun, but it's okay. They're getting back into this range that they were in for a very, very long time. What is it, March all the way to now, to end of May? or mid-May. Yeah, so they're back in there. The lows and highs of the last 2 trading days doing a pretty good job, and it's also marking the top of the range here where we have some resistance. If I mark down the low of the pre-market, you can see kind of cover the lower part of this where more candles are hitting this than that low of the low of yesterday, right? More candles are kind of hitting this one here, making it a slightly stronger level over at 62.17. So that's a good one there. Then you have the range we've been dancing around for a very long time. Oh, don't do that. Bring that back up. That was what? This was the low of our pre-market. No, this was over here somewhere, I believe. Where does this level come from? Might have been down here. We'll put it here. So 57.17. Yeah, 57.17. You can see there just the range we've been dancing around for the last couple of months, guys. Just kind of bouncing back and forth between that. We actually broke out just this week. So let's see what happens there on Oxy. It has been trading very, very well, very clean at the market open. So I'm looking forward to that one. And hopefully can continue that clean trading. Here's Apple getting a little bit of a bounce like many stocks. Oops, I deleted the low of the pre-market. 138.56 is your low. Your high of your pre-market right now is pretty close to the previous day close. 140.60, 140.50. Your previous day close is at 140.80. That's going to be interesting if we can get back into the green. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days here around 150, 146. But here you have this is not, I won't put too much weight on this level, but you have something around 144. You got a couple of days just kind of doing something around here. Not a great level. It's not your market highs and market lows here where you see significant support and confirmation off the daily. But that 144.21 looks interesting to have something at least midpoint if we do decide to rally today. We have not been down here in quite a bit. October of last year, and we didn't break it. Actually, we didn't break this 138. We held it. Look at the drop here to 138. We found the bounce, and we obviously rallied like crazy after that. Below that, we're looking now at a June-July timeframe of last year. So assuming here, let's pick off some areas where we see support and resistance over here. 132. Again, I just don't see that happening, but who knows? 136, another one where we have a little bit of resistance on there as well. And then you go into the levels that we have already this morning. So let's see, guys. Big level for Apple here. If we can hold this 138, that is going to be interesting. And you're seeing the bounce happening this morning. AMD, our favorite stock the last couple of days, has been trading very, very well. Low of the pre-market, 93.74. Towards the bottom here, we're seeing 84.01. And I think you're pretty much set. Oh, no, you have another one here too. You have this one over at 89. Might be actually 90, but 89, 83, another level on there as well. So that's AMD, guys. You're pretty much set there. You got tons of stuff happening as far as levels on AMD. Look at the double bottom we got on the daily here. We're trying to get going and let's see if that happens. All right, we are set, guys. And the secondary list, quick look at it, quick scan. BABA, UPST, UAA, SIGA, and AMC on the secondary list this morning. These could be explosive. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe closer to the market open. All right, excellent. Let's get to some questions, guys. We got a little bit. We got plenty of time. 9:03 Eastern time only. Was not a hard list to put together today, as there's not a whole lot out there. This list is going to get a lot longer if the SPY continues to drop. I don't think it's dropping. I think we're getting just kind of going sideways now. And we'll see. If the SPY drops, and this list will get much longer. VREU is here again. What did it do yesterday? I know it was on our list. I didn't actually look at it, so I know it was very active pre-market, right? Yeah, we got a lot of activity, a lot of action pre-market. It's just sold off. Again, if it's sold off, you could have watched anything else that's going to trade a little bit better because that's what the market did. Market just kind of sold off. So I don't see anything great on it right now. We're down 3.1. Volume is a little bit light. Again, they're just trying to get going here under good news. We'll have to see what turns out there. All right, let's get to questions. Carlos, you do not have DAS automatically marking your pre-market highs and pre-market lows in order to show the process a bit better for this show. You know what? Who's a big advocate of that, and I agree, is Peter. Peter loves to have it. He always tells me, why don't you have it? He gets on me for that. He hasn't in a while, but he does. Here's the reason. I like to do the levels myself, and I actually don't like to move them. You know, if a new pre-market high is set. And let me see if I find a good example. I might have to just create an example for you here. Let's see if I find a good one. Okay, let's say this 62.17. We'll use this as an example. Let's say we bounce here quite a bit, right? We bounce here quite a bit, and there's been some support, resistance happening at whatever level. In this case, support. And then we lose that level, right? Let me do it here. Let's say it's over here, right? So you guys can see it better. And then we lose this level, right? And then now the new pre-market low is going to be here. I still want to keep this level there, right? So I still want to keep that level there. So I mark it, it'll stay there, and then when the new one comes, you know, it'll pop up here. This is what we'll do. Let's try this. Not next week, but let's try the following week. And next week I'll be in Vancouver in the Vancouver office. But let's try this the following week. We'll put them and let's see how they play out. Right? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot and see if it makes sense for the way we're doing things. Right? So remind me, guys, on Monday, 2 weeks from now. If you remember, I'll make a note. We'll try that. Let's see how it plays out. All right. Anything else? What do I think about what would I think is going to happen to Tesla? I think Tesla's just going to do whatever the SPY does. I think that's exactly what's going to happen to Tesla. Whatever the Qs do, whatever the direction of the SPY is, that's what's going to happen to Tesla. Because it doesn't have its own catalyst right now, not that I'm aware of, or at least it doesn't have a catalyst big enough to make it do its own thing, right? If you look at it now, it's just doing what everybody else is doing. It's doing what Apple is doing. You look at Apple, you look at AMD. These guys are all trading the same. There's nothing different about these stocks that again, that gonna get volume, that are gonna trade heavy volume throughout the day, that have been great intraday traders. They're not doing anything different than the SPY unless you have your own catalyst, which and your own big catalyst. Because sometimes you hear a catalyst from Tesla where a factory is opening up, resuming production in China, or something is happening, and it's not big enough to change the direction of whatever the SPY is doing. So it's got to be a big enough catalyst. So that's my take on it. You got to keep an eye on the SPY on Tesla. And since I don't know what the SPY is going to do, I have no idea what Tesla is going to do. Right? Oxy, it's on its own. Oxy is its own beast, though. It's currently on an ugly daily. Yeah, it is. The daily. The daily's not so bad. It's not so bad compared to how the stock usually trades, right? You have a nice range here. Yes, you have a couple of days in here that are not pretty. They're very ugly. I agree with that. But lately, though, I don't know if I can agree about the current daily. I think this looks decent. I mean, look at the breakout you're getting here, right? So I don't know if this is that ugly. I wouldn't consider this ugly for me, Chris, MC. But again, you got to see what style is trading. Yes, you got a couple of really nasty days in here, but for the most part, I don't see it as being that nasty today. Tesla was removed from the XPX. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It could be removed from the. You don't have to be a part of the SPY to move with the way the SPY and the Qs are doing, right? You don't have to be involved. You don't have to be a Fortune 500, whatever the number is, or whatever it is. If the market, think about the market, right? We look at the SPY, we look at the Qs, but just think about the overall market sentiment, right? If it's dropping, if both the Qs and SPYs are both dropping, right? Most likely those companies are going to follow suit. You have a few that don't do that. KO. Whoa, what happened to KO yesterday? KO is one of them. KO doesn't really follow whatever the market is doing. See, it's just been trending up. It doesn't really care. It's one of these companies that doesn't move a whole lot. But what happened to KO yesterday? Look at this drop. They sold off pretty aggressive. They're not down by much today with not a whole lot of volume. Yeah, exactly. KO is not really gonna follow the overall market. They're very stable. But yesterday took a little bit of a drop here, whatever's going on with them. And there's a few like that just don't really care what the market does. They're very solid companies. A few out there that do that. After the ORB on Oxy can trade Masonly, though. Oh, hold on, scrolling down on me. Though that's why it's been on my list every day. Yeah, I agree. Oxy has been pretty good. It's been really, really good, guys. Cannot agree with you more. Any questions over on YouTube? Let's see what we have here. Our friends over there. When you're setting levels, do you try to get to the middle of the range is holding or a higher low? Yeah, I do both. Oxy's a good example. So here's Oxy, right? Oxy, the real range actually is, if you want to get the bottom of this range, it's right over here, probably 54.90. Someone might argue, depending on how they look at things, that this is the range down here. I don't think this is it because we only came down here twice. I think the range is between here and this one here, right? Let's say this 54.90. but you have some levels in between here, right? That you still can find some good daily activity. You consolidated there, creating a support at 57.17, came back up to that 62.56, and then right back down to that 57 for a little bit, but then back to your main level of support, which is 54.90. So you can mark both of them. I think the range is the big one, right? But you can mark some stuff within here. You might also find another one right in here as well. In fact, we'll mark this one down. This is 59.56, right? And you might think, man, it's a lot of levels in here. There is, but the stock is moving from 69 to 54 at times, right? It's moving $2 to $3 very easily. So it's easy to find levels, tons of levels in between here. Now you got to give levels. I usually like to give them, whether I put a lot of weight on it or not a lot of weight on it. This 62, this one right here gets a lot of weight. This level, I put a lot of weight on this level. This 59, you put some. But this here, this 57, where you're getting a lot of bounces, this 59, 50, 15, 54.90, the more bounces you're getting and the more change in direction is important too, guys. If you're getting a lot of change in direction, that is going to be, a level you want to add a little bit more weight on, right? So that's how I would look at that there. Yesterday from 11:10 to 11:15, the market seemed almost halted or so. No stocks were moving anymore. You know why? I do not know why. Did anything happen, guys, at 11:10, 11:15? I was not aware of any actual specific stuff happening at that time on the SPY. But you tend to have that. You tend to have that. It's a kind of sideways action there. Let's see. 11:15. Let's take a quick look here. We got a little bit of time. 11:15. I mean, I see it dropping here on the 5-minute, right? I see it dropping with volume, so I'm not sure what exactly you saw there, but that does happen though, and it shouldn't be anything too strange, but it does happen. All right, moderators are coming in with their list. I only got 3 so far. I'll wait for a little bit more to come in here. Brian will be trading live today as not Brian, excuse me. Andrew will be trading live today for us and taking us to the market open. Well, let's see what the rest of our moderators have this morning for us here. Russia said that all their territories that they lose, they want it back. Well, that's the catalyst. That's what you're saying. Not sure if you meant to tag me on that, but yeah, we'll see where that goes. Jimmy, a couple of stickers here. Airbnb, what's Airbnb up to? Airbnb, they're getting destroyed, but they're not doing so well here. I mean, pre-market action, you can't go by pre-market action too much. It's a little bit light at the moment. We've got to give it a little bit more time. So Daniel, thank you very much for your comment. Appreciate it very, very much. Guys, let's bring up the moderators lineup. Let's get to that. And let's see what our moderators have this morning. As I'm doing this over on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. If you're enjoying the content, we appreciate it very much. Sitting at 132, so thank you for those that have taken the time to hit that button. We appreciate it very so much. All right, let's go here in our chat room. So bring our buddies over, and we are going to see what our moderators are looking at this morning. Looking forward to see what they have on their list, like I am every morning, but today especially because I'm not a huge fan of my list today. Besides Apple, AMD, and Oxy, there's not really a whole lot that looks great. And those three don't really have their own catalyst, right? So we also get the question, why do we watch things that do not have a catalyst? Well, because of the market. The market is the catalyst, right? So keep that in mind, though. Sometimes, we try to make things a little bit complicated. You don't need to, guys. It is actually that simple as it is. Don't make trading complicated. It can be very, very simple. Carlos, do day traders make more or less money during the recessions or bear market? No, I think they make more. I think day traders make more because the moves, definitely more. At least for the few people that I am in contact with that do share that information, right? Because we have that relationship. It's more. They love they love movement. I'll say they love recession because recession is not good for overall economy. We don't like recession, but the movements you're getting, I mean, you can make a couple of bucks very, very quickly. So we'd rather not have a recession. We'd rather have a bull market, right? That's very aggressive because you can make money that way, more money that way also, right? So all right, let's get here to our list. Store, SPY, QQQs, Apple, CSCO, and Kohls. Tiffany will be looking at Cisco, Tesla, and Apple. Dima also Cisco, Kohl, AMD, and Apple. Very similar to what we have here, guys. So you can kind of see the trend. There's not a whole lot different that we're watching this morning. No SPACs, no IPOs this morning. Susan will be watching Oxy and AMD, both really good there, very fine-tuned list. Peter will be watching AMD, of course, looking, again, it has been really, really great last couple of days. Hopefully Peter's enjoying that. Apple, Kohl, secondary list, CSCO, Cisco there, Oxy, and Baba this morning. Yeah, I have Baba on a secondary, and I have space for it, so I actually might end up moving it up because I think Baba could do something today. All right, we are all set, guys. Here on YouTube, here's our chat. Here's our members. Say hello, guys. If you want to try us out, you can do so for using PreMarket 24. It gives you access to 7 days of this chat room here. Plus, you also get access to Ed's chat, right? So you get access to Ed Martin's chat, and he's in there right now with his team there, and they're also going through their pre-market situation. Let's see over here. So you get access to both of those for $24. You know, I mean, you can't beat that. So give it a shot, try it out. You know, you can always make a decision towards the end if you want to stick around, if it's the right thing for you or not. But definitely give it a shot. Here's Ed. Ed has his. Let's see if he has his watch list. We'll read his out too. No, he doesn't have it ready yet. He'll post it here when it's ready. I don't see it there. And Ed looks like he's in Target. Very nice. He's has a position in Target already, or maybe something from last night, because he doesn't trade pre-market. So that's probably from last night. So very nice, guys. You get options, which is pretty cool. You can see what works best for you. Guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow to end the week. So recap. Oh, hold on. I cannot forget Megan. Sorry. All right, bring it back. Megan, you're looking at PayPal, MUSQ, and CSCO. So thank you for that. And Andrew will be on shortly, and we'll be getting ready for our live trading here. So quick recap, guys. CSCO, many of our moderators have that one on deck. Kohl, Oxy, Apple, and AMD. I think every moderator is looking at a similar list this morning. So very fine-tuned on what we're looking at today. So all looking very well. Baba, I think it's worth probably moving up as well. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. I think they have potential here. They do have great volume, trying to get going at the moment, down 2%. So guys, trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow, no engineering the markets. Yes, I know, tears, but we will be live at 8:30 in the morning, Norm and I. So tune in then, and we will end the week and see how the overall market is going to be by Friday. Take care, guys.